Hello and welcome to Fresno State Focus. I'm Dejanique Martin.
And I'm Rhett Rodriguez. Russian forces now control the Ukrainian city Kherson. It is the first major Ukrainian city to fall to Russia. Countries such as Poland have taken over 300,000 refugees, and it's estimated that 50,000 will arrive every day. Thousands of Ukrainian refugees are waiting up to 60 hours to cross the border into neighboring countries. The latest death toll of Ukrainian civilians is now up to 2,000. UN officials say it is much higher.
The CSU board has requested an independent investigation into Fresno State's response to sexual misconduct allegations. Former Fresno State president and CSU chancellor Joseph Castro resigned from his position due to his handling of harassment allegations at Fresno State. The investigation will focus on 6 years of staff complaints from 2014 to 2019. Will serve as acting chancellor until a replacement is found.
Fresno State's commencement is returning to the Save Mart Center. The university announced this year's ceremonies will be from May 20th to the 22nd. Last year's ceremonies were done outside of Bulldog Stadium because of the pandemic. Attendees must show proof of vaccination or have a negative COVID-19 test within 48 hours of the event.
Mask mandates are loosening. Governor Newsom announced that starting mid-March, children will no longer be required to wear a mask in the classroom, but it is strongly recommended that they still wear one. And a few weeks ago, the governor announced masks are no longer required to be worn indoors for vaccinated people.
I'm still gonna wear one just because for me and like going around people that might be unvaccinated, even though I'm vaccinated, I feel like I should still just wear a mask just to keep everybody safe. But like at the end of the day, it's everyone's choice, I guess.
At this point, masks are still required here at Fresno State.
The cost of rent is going up again. According to the apartment website Zumper, one-bedroom apartment prices are up 28% from this time last year. Two-bedroom apartments also went up 27%. Fresno is now one of the top 10 cities in the nation with the highest rent increase. These hikes in rent are making it hard for people to afford the places they call home.
I'm always worried that, maybe this is the month that I'm not going to be able to pay. So I'm kind of just trying to figure out, like, okay, if I do this, how I'm going to pay this if I can't pay this. So I'm kind of like constantly always worrying about how I'm going to pay the rent every month.
With the average rent in Fresno rising to $1,400, the number of people losing their apartments is growing as well. The price of food is also going up. That can make it even harder to figure out what's the right food to eat. Most fall short of fulfilling their daily nutritional requirement, as Octavio Murillo explains.
Jesus Turan remembers when all he would eat was fast food. But after seeing how his body reacted, that all changed.
I lift more, I feel better about myself, physically, mentally. I eat a lot more than I used to. Yeah.
He goes to the gym on a regular basis, noting that his food choices do not slow him down like they used to. But do we really know what separates healthy eating versus unhealthy? Erica Ireland, who is a dietetic internship director at the Department of Food and Science and Nutrition here at Fresno State, shares her thoughts.
So what we're looking for is foods that are going to have more of the nutrient density and not necessarily just have what we would say is more empty calories, where it's just calories and nothing else.
This doesn't necessarily mean you can't eat fast food.
But that doesn't mean that we can't have French fries. So I also want to put that out there, is that it's just the amount and how often that we expose ourselves to those things that it makes a difference.
Healthy eating and nutrition play a huge role in how you live your life. Combined with physical activity, you can feel the best you've ever felt. In Bakersfield, I'm Octavio Murillo, Fresno State Focus.
It's never too late to change your eating habits to ensure a long and healthy life.
With the campus being open for over a full semester, one of the university's favorite recreational locations will soon be open. Bulldog Bowl has been acting as a social space since the school's reopening, but students are still not allowed to bowl or use the other forms of entertainment there. Right now, only the university's bowling club is able to use the bowling lanes.
It will be. It's a wait and see right now. It's hopefully soon, but it definitely is going to open. It's kind of a wait and see thing right now. So
As of now, there is still no set date for public reopening.
There are a lot of gains when you break a sweat. I take a look at what other things you can gain when working out. The gym may be a place known for building muscle, but is also a place to strengthen the mind. Dr. Richard Ryther is a therapist who believes there are other ways to manage the stress of everyday life.
Both in the medical fields and psychological fields, for the longest time, it's been very well established that physical exercise is really vital, certainly for physical health, but also mental health.
According to Johns Hopkins Medicine, 1 in 4 adults in the U.S. suffer from some form of mental illness. Personal trainer Zach Onrio believes a routine can help you get stronger and also bring you peace of mind.
You have to understand that this is not a sprint, it is going to be a marathon for any type of results that you're looking for. So you really want to make sure that you're staying pretty consistent and disciplined on your stuff, and that builds a routine and a regimen which helps your mentality.
Consistency used to be Fresno State student Mari Zavala's biggest challenge.
I didn't like it, but I would still do it. And then I kept falling out of it, in and out. I would stop working out, I would keep going, and I don't know, it was never really something I liked to do until I started doing it for myself, and I started running. I ended up loving lifting.
All Fresno State students have access to the Fresno State Rec Center. Just bring your student ID card and be ready to start your fitness journey.
Today is Ash Wednesday, a holy day of prayer and fasting leading up to Easter. Catholics and Protestants across the country are lining up to receive a cross on the forehead made out of ashes. Although COVID cases are going down, some churches are still taking precautions by having worshipers drive up to get their ashes.
Coming up on Fresno State Focus, we could all use a vacation. We see how Hawaii has changed and adapted to COVID rules.
Plus, we see how NFL fans feel about Tom Brady's retirement and whether they think it will stick.
Could more rain be on the way? I'll tell you about it in your Focus on Weather.
Here in the valley, our colors are blue and our waves are red. Bulldog born and bulldog bred. Generations linked forever by traditions that have stood the test of time. Inside our stadiums, we are one. This is our valley, and this year, we're doing it for you.
At Fresno State, being bold means committing to something greater than yourself. It's learning by doing and nurturing leaders to advance our shared future. It's using research to create a better life for those around us and healing those who need us most. These are our stories, because at Fresno State, bold begins here.
Hi, I'm Sydney Morgan with your Focus on Weather. Starting off today, you'll see we have bright blue skies. This was taken right outside our student union at about 11:30, and those skies haven't gone anywhere. Taking a closer look at our nationwide satellite, you'll see that we do have some storms in Florida here. They're going to face some thunderstorms possibly, and then up in the Michigan and Four Lakes area, they might have some snow. Leading to our west coast, we will see that there is some rain up in Oregon and the Washington area that might trickle down to our valley. For California specifically, there's nothing too crazy going on. Again, just that possible rain. When it comes to the highs today, we have Coalinga at the highest 81 degrees, Fresno at 79, and Shaver with the low of 63. That weather will cool off as we fade into the night, which you'll see Shaver Lake is at 36 degrees. That's going to be a couple degrees above freezing, so we could potentially see some snow. And then the average is just about over 45 degrees. When it comes to air quality here, let me get out of your way. It will be moderate, nothing too crazy. And then for the extended look, Wednesday we do have 78 degrees. That's going to be our warmest day of the week, but that will quickly fade away as we reach Thursday and Friday, where we'll see some potential rain coming up from the northern coast. That you'll see that little guitar that there stands for the Rogue Festival. That's going to consist of music, and comedians down in the Tower District. And that sunshine will progress through Tuesday, where you'll reach 66 degrees. And that's your focus on weather. Are you ready for a vacation? For those traveling to the Hawaiian Islands, there are still some restrictions and mandates that you need to know about. I was there recently, and here's what I learned.
The tropics and culture of Hawaii are still bringing in tourists, even during a pandemic. However, visitors need to work for their lays.
It's impossible to get a test from a basic place like Walgreens, so you have to find a place that is able to do it within 72 hours, which is usually the labs. And so I had to go to a place all the way in San Luis Obispo and pay $250 for my COVID test, and which is so much money just to have it in a few days. And
regardless of vaccination status, Hawaii is still requiring proof of a negative COVID test before arriving.
It's really stressful having to get your test like a couple days before because you never know if they're going to run out of tests, and it's also really expensive.
Regulations ask for the NAAT tests to be taken 72 hours before your flight.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do to go to a place that you've never been to, and I think that it was worth it.
Since over-the-counter tests are not accurate enough, only ones at the doctor or pharmacy qualify for travel. Regardless of these specific requirements that can be found at travel.hawaii.gov, people still keep coming to the islands to see the sights and to drink the coffee. Fresh from Hawaii, this is Sydney Morgan, Fresno State Focus.
With record inflation driving up prices, grocery shopping is becoming even more of a mindful process in budgeting and planning. I learned some insight from shoppers and employees on adjusting to growing costs.
Gallons are gone from grocery store shelves as the U.S. economy experiences supply shortages and historically high rates of inflation. Angel Godinez is a dairy worker at FoodMax and says that shoppers looking for staple goods like eggs are in for a sticker shock.
Usually every weekend I come, it's always 50 cents. So like at the start of, for example, August, it was like $9 for a 60 count. Now it's like 13.
Elizabeth Hartwell, a staff accountant from Sunnyvale, knows all too well about grocery stores coming up short on goods.
I wanted to get some I don't remember what it was, but there's a specific vegetable I wanted to get at one point, and I went to 3 different stores and none of them had stock.
Living on her own in the Silicon Valley has meant carefully balancing a budget, which Hartwell says she reviews regularly with Microsoft Excel.
Yeah, I go by month and then I get paid every other week. So I say this is what my paycheck is, each time because I'm salary, so I know what I'm going to get paid. And I say these are the bills that I have to have paid. And then this is what I'm going to spend this excess money on, which tends to be groceries.
As for parents like Hayward resident Brittany Polk, pleasing preferences is part of the process.
Because my kids do like meat, I know a little goes a long way, and I feel like you can make so many meals with meat.
While budgeting may require stretching meals, Polk says there are ways to stay within means. Will Matthews, Fresno State Focus.
With supply chain issues continuing on into the year, it is now more important than ever to buy only the groceries that you need.
Because more people are vaccinated and fewer people are getting COVID, Disneyland is fully opening its park back again and even loosening mask rules. But Disney is going further for those wishing they could just live at Disneyland. That could one day happen. In a way, Disney is planning neighborhoods. The first location to break ground later this year will be in Rancho Mirage, just east of Palm Springs. There will be homes, shops, restaurants, and Disney characters in the neighborhood.
A teacher shortage is upon us, not only in California, but on the national level as well. Fresno State Focus reporter Holden Wheeler has more.
After a quick search on Indeed.com for teacher positions in California, 8,647 listings showed, putting the demand for new teachers into perspective, leaving people who are working to become teachers offering help to try and solve the problem.
You're taking a lot of general ed classes where it's like, me as a special ed teacher, I know for sure just working in the field, I'm not really going to spend a lot of time on history or performing arts or a lot of physics or chemistry.
While some of the required courses may not be practical in the field, pay is another concern among aspiring teachers, as some feel teachers don't get paid enough.
I do think that the main reason is the pay. I personally believe, and it could be because I'm biased and I want to be a teacher, I don't believe that teachers get paid enough for the work that they do.
Even with all of these obstacles, it does not take away inspiration to teach the youth, believing in the process, remembering what got them there, and why they want to teach.
One of my biggest role models has been my godmother, who was a teacher, and so I had a lot of exposure to that from a young age, and I would go help her set up her classroom and do all that, and it was always just a lot of fun.
The fight to close the gap won't be over from just these 3 students, but it does show there are still young people out there wanting to teach.
While they may be students now, soon they'll be teachers in their very own right. Reporting from Rakeen Elementary School, Holden Wheeler, Fresno State Focus.
For more information on job postings on Indeed, visit FresnoStateFocus.com.
COVID-19 is still an issue in education. As Holly Casina tells us, elementary school students are staying in the classroom with the introduction of rapid testing in schools.
The 2-year mark of the COVID-19 pandemic is right around the corner, and although restrictions are still in place, updated protocols are keeping students in classrooms.
New testing procedures for students who have come in close contact with someone with COVID-19 have added an extra layer of efficiency and effectiveness to the testing process, with results coming to students in minutes from tests like these, as opposed to weeks with previous testing practices.
The biggest thing that has improved is access to testing. So when we first started, it was very difficult for students to, especially in our area, for students to have access to testing to even be able to get testing. So the access has been astronomical.
With students spending less time in quarantine and more time in class, teachers and staff have had more opportunities to create a welcoming school culture for students every day.
We didn't feel like we were getting to know kids through the camera. You can't tell a whole lot about them. Some of them are nervous or uncomfortable. There's things going on in the background, lots of distractions.
Readily available rapid testing means that students can quickly and safely return to class to learn with their peers instead of virtually from home.
Having them in the classroom and in a safe environment is what's really getting them to excel in school. And so having them come back as soon as they can ensures that they're not missing any first instruction.
Having students in classrooms means we are one step closer to the norm. In Lemoore, California, Holly Casina, Fresno State Focus.
Faster test results means that students can be back in the classroom sooner and safely. A Fresno teacher is a hit on social media. He's gone viral for his throwback dance moves and is even getting the attention of celebrities. Austin Lee May is the campus culture director at Tenaya Middle School in Fresno. This role allows him to connect with students in a way that encourages fun and positivity in education. The viral TikTok video of Mr. Lee May has over 40 million views and 10 million likes. Some of those are from celebrities. Mr. Lee May got to appear on The Ellen Show last month with guest host Adam Devine.
Just being able to kind of represent Fresno Unified, Tenaya, Bullard, Fresno State, Fresno in general by going on The Ellen Show. It's all been a dream, and I hope that I can keep it up because I don't want to mess anything up.
On The Ellen Show, Mr. Lee May was gifted $10,000 to help him continue his inspiring work with his students.
Coming up in sports, we see how our Bulldogs managed after another week of tough matchups.
And Gabe Camarillo is live at Bulldog Stadium with an underdog story about one of the newest football starters. Holly Casina is next with sports.
At Fresno State, being bold means committing to something greater than yourself. It's learning by doing and nurturing leaders to advance our shared future. It's using research to create a better life for those around us and healing those who need us most. These are our stories, because at Fresno State, bold begins here.
Success. At Fresno State, it's no secret. It's discovering new ways to change our world. It's creating opportunities as diverse as our community itself. It's in the distinction of our graduates as they lead us into the future. Success is no secret at Fresno State. It's our mission.
Welcome back. I'm Holly Casina with your focus on sports. The Fresno State women's basketball team looks to continue their win streak after a big 75-67 win over Air Force on senior night at the Sabart Center. The Dogs were led by Haley Cavender with 22 points, 16 of those being in the second half. Hannah Cavender contributed 20 points, helping the team earn its second win over a top 5 team in the conference this week. The Dogs go into their final game of the regular season tonight at Utah State. The Fresno State men's basketball team won a 71-68 thriller for the home finale this season. 3 Dogs scored in double digits, led by Orlando Robinson, earning his 24th career double-double with 28 points and 10 rebounds. The Bulldogs now advance to 18-10 this season, clinching at least a top 6 spot in the Mountain West tournament. The men head to San Diego State to face the Aztecs tomorrow night. The Fresno State women's indoor track and field team made their way to Albuquerque, New Mexico to compete in the Mountain West Championship. Multiple Dogs placed in their individual events over 3 days, including Sierra Jackson, earning second place in the weight throw. Fresno State ended the conference championship in 5th place overall with 36 total points, quadrupling their score from last year. The Dogs are looking to end their equestrian season on a high note against Baylor. This comes after a definitive win over the Aggies of UC Davis. The Dogs scored 15 points, making this match the highest final score of their whole season. The team will host the Baylor Bears on Friday morning at the Student Horse Center. Major League Baseball is postponing opening day. The Players Association rejected the owner's final bargaining agreement, which was due March 1st. Commissioner Rob Manfred announced that the first week of the regular season is canceled. Baseball fans aren't totally out of luck, though, as minor league baseball season is right around the corner. The Fresno Grizzlies season opener is April 8th at Chansey Park. The Fresno State football team got a kick out of their breakout performer last season. Gabe Camarillo is live from Bulldog Stadium with Abe the Leg.
Thanks, Holly. Now, Abraham Montano has played football his entire life, just not this kind of football. He won championships on the soccer field at Alisal High School in Salinas. Now he does his kicking here at Bulldog Stadium.
Abraham Montano was not a football player a few years ago. By the start of his senior year of high school, Montano only played soccer. Fast forward to 2022, Montano is the leg of Fresno State football, a contender in the competitive Mountain West. How did that happen?
My sister played soccer, my brother played soccer, so that's all I ever wanted to do. But then I ended up playing football kind of as a joke.
It was no laughing matter to Montano's soccer coach at Hartnell College in Salinas.
Yeah, his father, he was very disappointed because his father wants to play soccer. And I explained to him that was the best for him to go to football because he had a more chance to go for a scholarship.
Montano played football for a year at Hartnell. He put together a highlight reel and sent 300 to college coaches across the country. Only one school responded, Fresno State.
I mean, for me, it was a no-brainer. I think he called me a Thursday. I said yes a Friday, and I was here kicking with Caesar and Carson like that same weekend. And in the span of 4 days, I went from being at my JC to being at a Division I program.
In the second game of his first season, Montano filled in for injured starter Cesar Silva.
Yeah, I told him on Friday morning. He was like, "Oh, all right, let's go." So he had like really like a day to prepare for that game.
Fresno State the lead. He is 3 for 3.
Montano made 3 field goals against the 11th ranked team in the country, Oregon. The Bulldogs narrowly lost to Oregon, but Montano showed promise that day for what's in store for the future.
Now I'm with the man himself, Abraham. On top of playing football here at Fresno State, he's also an MCJ major with hopes of being a sports analyst. So what do you like about your classes, Abe?
You know, I like a lot of things about them, but I think one of the biggest things is how hands-on we are. So, yeah, I think that's one of the things that I like the most from all my classes.
Now you're learning how to do tags, but let me take this one. Abraham and the Bulldogs will start spring practice later this month. From Bulldog Stadium, Gabe Camarillo, Fresno State Focus. Back to you, Holly.
Tom Brady announced his retirement shortly after the Super Bowl. Brady played for 22 seasons. Fans are shocked and disappointed that Brady is hanging up the cleats. Sebastian Gonzalez has some fan reaction.
Tom Brady let everyone know around the world he was done with football on social media. Brady said he gave it all during his time in the NFL, as well as thanking his coaches, teammates, personal trainer, and family for being a support group. Many are reacting to the retirement post of Tom Brady. Fans like Moises Salazar are not taking the news too well.
My overall feelings, I think it's a sad day, not only as a fan of him, but it's like a sad day for football. It's a sad day for football fans.
Others have been waiting for Brady to step away from the field. Ignacio Medrano is happy to see Brady go, and even shared his favorite memory of the quarterback.
It was the year that Tom Brady went undefeated, and then after the playoffs, they went up against the Giants, 16-0, and then they lost when they were predicted that they were going to beat them.
NFL fans are not the only ones reacting to the news. Journalists are just as surprised. Sports journalist Jesus Cano says he never thought he'd see the day.
It seemed like Tom Brady was never going to be somebody that was going to retire. It seemed like it was going to be somebody that was going to play on forever. But obviously the human body's anatomy isn't able to do that. So I think, I thought he was going to play one more season.
Brady now walks away from the NFL with 7 Super Bowls and 3 MVP awards, leaving it all out on the field for fans to remember. In Fresno, California, Sebastian Gonzalez, Fresno State Focus.
Tom Brady is retiring at the age of 44. He finished his career leading the NFL in just about every major passing category, including passing yards and touchdowns. Love him or hate him, there is no denying his impact on the game. That is your Focus on Sports.
Okay, now we need to end the newscast on something very cute. 3 orphan bear cubs were found in Wisconsin. Researchers were tracking the mom, but unfortunately she passed away last week. And so without their mom, they are now being bottle fed by staff, and they are only 4 pounds.
So the biggest thing is they can't imprint if you're not careful. And because, we're the caregivers, we're giving them a bottle, they see us as the caregivers. Teach them how to eat out of a dish as soon as they're a little bit more coordinated.
The cubs will get different food in about 2 weeks. They'll ultimately be between 80 to 125 pounds when they are released back into the wild after bear hunting season is over in October. Next week on Fresno State Focus, we give some attention to a couple of our female Bulldogs for Women's History Month.
Plus, the mask mandate is being lifted inside the classroom. We take a look at how that's going.
Also, Broadway's Hamilton is coming to Fresno. We'll see if there are any tickets left.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.